Look at how to use a porta power to push out your front end. If you look at your front end, it's like this. Probably going to need a porta power to straighten it out. So I'm going to show you guys pretty much how to do that now. So if you look at this side, you see this kink is sticking way out right here. Over at this side, it's pretty flat. Probably should have done this on my 61 bug, but I didn't really want to bother with it because it was more. This one here I can straighten out pretty easily. So what you do is you go ahead and pry this out, and sometimes people just try and just keep prying it out and hoping that it's just going to straighten itself out. It doesn't work that way. What you do is you pry it out like that. So I've already got tension on here. And then, whoop, that didn't work. So you go ahead and hammer on your kinks. I'm going to have to get a block of wood so I can get this in the right place. Or maybe switch it up and use something different. I'll do that right now. Well, the cheap Chinese porta power broke. I've never used this one before. This one's brand new. I've used that ram. What happened is I had this old Allied one from the 80s. I've had, and I don't know, it's probably made in Taiwan. I don't even know where it's made. It's certainly not American, I'm sure. I didn't pay a lot for it. I think I got it at a swap meet. And finally, after so many years, the hydraulic ram right here, the seals went out, and I couldn't buy them anywhere, so I was like, well, I bought this one because I figured I could use a 10-ton, and I've used this ram many times and no issues with that. But this one ended up breaking. So anyway, so I got it pried out now, and that was pretty scary. That thing blew out and flew in the air, and I don't know where all the pieces for it are, and I didn't even have that much tension on it. So what I do is I pry it out a little bit. I put some tension on here. Then you want to start working those kinks. So while there's tension, I'm gonna hammer here a little bit, try and straighten that out, and I'm gonna hammer on some of those kinks and try and push it back out. I'm not confident it's gonna go 100%, but I'm gonna just try to get it as close as I can because it's not that far off. If it's not perfect, I'm not worried about it as long as the fender fits. So while there's tension on it, I knocked down this kink here. Been pushing that one back little by little. Then I worked out. There's a pretty good size one here. This was pretty out of shape. A little bit right here. And that's what you want to do while you have tension on it. Start to push out the kinks while there's tension, and don't try and push too hard on your porta power. A lot of guys will just try and push it all the way back out with the porta power, and that's really not the right way to do it. Push it out a little bit, work some kinks, push it out a little bit more, work some more kinks, and then finally it'll just go back into place. So that's the way to do it. Luckily my new 1010 operates this little 4-ton piece, so, and maybe they actually used good steel with that because I've had it for a long time. Or the cast iron that they used was probably what do they call it, strengthened or whatever. So I'll just keep working on this and kind of work you guys through, have you guys watch how it works, and show you guys what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Alright, so if you look at it where I started, so I worked some of these kinks out here that weren't supposed to be there. Worked some of these out right here. Of course, they're still there a bit because they're in a bad area. I mean, if I really wanted to work this out and get it perfect, I could. But nobody's paying me to do that. So actually this one is behind a support. There's a support right here. If you look right there, you can see on this side where there's support that runs So that kink is probably behind there. I'd have to use a spot welder, pull all that out, and everything else on something you can't see. That's okay. I think I'll not do that because it's behind something. You know, on something like this, I'd even be fine with myself just going ahead and just filling that with Bondo. Because like I said, if it cracks, and as long as it doesn't fall off, it's not going to do that. So if I grind it down to bare metal and put Bondo on there, have a nice thick, you know, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch thick piece, it's not going to hurt anything if it does happen to crack someday. So, especially if it's covered in undercoating, you'll never see it. So I don't really care. A lot of people do, but I personally don't really care about something that's underneath the car. Oh, so anyway, but that's pretty much how you use the porta power to pull out your dents. You can see that that is substantially better. Let's look at the other side. Substantially better. It's very near the shape of this, and the fender should fit fine. Like I said, we're not looking for perfection on the inner panels, but we just want everything to fit, you know, in place. Let's take a look inside here. The angles of that, everything's pretty much the same over here, so the spare tire should fit. And if you look here near the steering box, sometimes they're too close up there. Sometimes you have to use the porta power actually inside here, so you want all of your gas tank and everything out while you're trying to do that. And you can straighten out a lot of these panels that you think you're going to have to replace much easier than replacing them. So that's how to use the porta power on your front end. And I'll probably have more videos on porta powers, but not on this vehicle, I don't think. It really doesn't have that much bad metal on it at all. Alright, so this is going to be fun though. Those are not easy. I think a lot of people will say, oh, replace the apron. I think I can straighten it pretty easily, so it might be easier to, you know, that's another $20 in the budget. You know, if I can save that and make it look just like it's new, I'm going to see if I can do that real quick before I replace it. See you on the next video.